James Lipton is most well known for being the host and interviewer on the TV series Inside the Actors Studio. Think Oscars level arse-kissery. Having said that, there are some quality episodes, particularly where Robin Williams is the interviewee and conducts some sort of improvised stand-up routine throughout the entire episode. Back to Lipton though. During the promotion of Inside the Actors Studio's 250th episode, it came to light, or was reported, that Mr Lipton had previously been a pimp on the streets of Paris. The media caused a very mild controversy as a result. However, Lipton initially revealed hints of his past in an interview with Julia Roberts, of which Lipton said, "God, it was awful that night with Julia, I was dying, and those were my students laughing at me." He later wrote about it himself in his book Inside, saying, "I had to set the record straight." The following is what Lipton had to say of his time in Paris in the 1950s. It was only a few years after the war. Paris was different then, still poor. Men couldn't get jobs, and in the male chauvinist Paris of that time, the women couldn't get any work at all. It was perfectly respectable for them to go into le mieux. They were beautiful and young and extraordinary. There was no opprobrium because it was completely regulated. Every week they had to be inspected medically. The great bordellos were still flourishing in those days before the sheriff of Paris, a woman, closed them down. It was a different time. A woman of the night called Regine became one of Lipton's closest friends. It was platonic, he said. Anything else would have spoiled that. I certainly wasn't going to pay her, and she certainly wasn't going to give it to me for free, because that would have been my exploiting her sexually. So we were stuck, but we liked each other. Months went by. Finally, I ran out of money, and one night I went back there and said, "I have to go back to America." She said, "Why?" I said, "Oh, I just have to go back." She said, "You're broke, aren't you?" I said, "Yes." She said, "The problem is solved. You're going to be my mech." I was the only American there, and guides would be saying to tourists, American tourists, "Would you like to see the Louvre, or would you like to have a personal tour of the Notre Dame de Paris?" And I would say to them, "Would you like a personal tour of Rue Pagel? Would you like a sexual exhibition?" I had to accompany my clientele to the Rue Pagel, which is where these things occurred, and then I'd take them up to the room, and I had to remain there because they were very nervous. They were young Americans for the most part, and they didn't speak French. I did a roaring business, and I was able to live for a year. I was going through my rites of passage, no question about it. It was a great year of my life. Lipton, though, has been at pains to clarify the terminology one should use to describe his activities. A pimp is an American word, he said. The French word apparently is mec, and he confirmed, "The difference between a pimp and a mec is profound. A pimp exploits and often abuses his women, and it's just the reverse with a mec. A mec works for his women. He's a procurer. He's an agent, so to speak." Mec is actually short for macquereau, meaning mackerel, and can be used in French slang to mean pimp. As for Lipton's view on prostitution,
why is it that hoes is better actors than men?
He clarified, "Well, I don't believe in buying sex. I think that if you haven't earned a sexual adventure, you don't deserve it. I believe that to this day, so no, I didn't want sex. My Parisian friend, he was much more casual about it. Then two beautiful women approached us and said, 'Would you like to see two women make love?' I said, 'I certainly would.'" Well, that's Mr Lipton's story. Do you think he was a pimp or just working for his friend? I'll let you decide.
Yo, you out there, now listen to me. Just do like me and my bro, the MC. Think, my friends, consider, reflect. Give mad props to the world. Translation, respect. Fresh.